2,
3.
All right, it's going, kid. What are we doing here today?
We're making a video.
Okay, about.
And Slash.
Lots of other ones, right?
Transformers.
So that's one of your new ones. That's Slash.
Slash, it's mine.
It is yours. Show it to the camera closer. They can't see down there. They only see what you see on the video there. Yep. What is Slash?
She's a Velociraptor.
She is a Velociraptor. Should I put her back in robot mode so they can see that version?
Yeah.
All right.
They don't know.
Why don't you talk about her while I do that?
Yeah, she appears in cartoons and all that stuff.
Does she appear in the cartoons?
No.
No, she doesn't.
But in some cartoons, she might.
Oh, yeah, maybe in the future. And she might be in that Power of the Primes cartoon. I haven't watched all of that.
Yeah, we must.
We should, you think?
Yeah, we're more into more Transformers.
Oh, okay. When you're more into Transformers.
More.
All right, well, here she is. Here she is. She's the smallest Dinobot.
Can you hold her?
You want me to hold her?
Yeah.
You got to talk about her then.
And she is a Velociraptor.
What else about her?
And she's also Dinobot and an Autobot. And she's a doll. And I never
How many girl Dinobots are there?
There's so many. I know.
How many girl Dinobots?
There's Orita.
That's an Autobot. It's a Dinobots.
Oh.
How many girl Dinobots are there?
I don't know many of them.
There's one.
Slash.
Here's who she
Boy.
reports to, and that's Grimlock. Just for size comparison, so put her up next to it. Yeah, there you go. Here's the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now you want to talk about Lita?
Yeah.
You mentioned Lita.
Lita
She's one of the other feminine female.
Yeah,
female.
Autobots.
Okay. What about her? You talk about her.
She has guns just in case we're having a fight with Pew Pews. And we know we have to help out her.
What about her? Tell us what she transforms into.
She transforms into a jet.
Well, this one does. Does she normally?
No!
What does she normally transform into?
She normally transforms into a...
She does. When she appeared in the cartoon, the original cartoon, can you tell us anything about that episode? Do you remember anything?
What episode?
When she first appeared in G1.
Oh, she was still tall.
She was a car. Do you remember anything about that episode?
No.
Okay. What do you know her from then?
I know all the cartoons except Power Primes.
Well, yes, but what version of Alita are you most familiar with? Because it's not this one.
Animated.
Animated version.
She never appears in Powers of Primes, right?
We don't know if she does. I think she actually does in that. But anyway, not important. She doesn't appear in Cyberverse, which I think is odd.
I don't see her in Cyberverse.
She doesn't appear there. We get Chromio, we get Windblade, we get RC. We don't get Lita.
No. I think she only appears in Powers of Primes.
Well, she appears in G1. Please put that down.
She did.
There you go.
Is that that film?
Yep. Anything else you want to tell us about her? Does she lead anyone in particular? Is there anything special you want to say about her?
Thing turned off.
Hmm?
Thing turned off. It just turned off.
No, it just went into battery save mode, I think. Or something. Well, it went into low brightness. Alright. We're okay.
And you have
Everything just got dark for a moment.
Alita.
That is Alita.
Yeah.
What about
Go
her?
ahead,
This is an Autobot. Does she lead any particular group of the Autobots?
Yep.
Who does she lead?
Rest of the dolls. I don't remember their names, but we have Chromia.
We do have Chromia. There's Moonracer.
Yes.
All those Lancer.
No, I'll tell you something.
Yeah, no, tell me.
I'll tell
them to something too.
No, is Chromia that's appears down when we have that version G1 person.
Do you want to just show off Chromia real quick?
Yeah,
so
real
they know
quick.
what we're talking about. That's Chromia. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look right out see or anything.
No. Well, speaking of RC, do you want to show off RC?
Yeah.
Here's RC.
I'll see what's like that.
That's a version of RC. That's the Cyberverse version of RC.
Yup.
What a pretty good one. Only in the sense that RC and a lot of the female Autobot characters have this backpack problem because they keep trying to make them like thin and skinny. Whereas I appreciate that they didn't do that with Alita. There are Slash is not super skinny. She's got thin thighs, but she's not super skinny. Don't rest on that. We might turn it off. But they're not doing that. But they keep trying to give them these like wasp waists, and it doesn't mean you need chunky people to be transform into cars.
Let's do this one.
Okay, well, who is that? I think that's your favorite character. Windblade. Yep, we've talked about her before, haven't we?
Yep. We just made a video.
Oh, of course we are.
That's bull. I'm talking about Windblade.
You're talking about Windblade? Okay, I'll have to wait his turn.
Okay.
But he's blur, so he's not very patient.
No, see?
Look, you're pressing down again. There we go.
And Windblade's the final one.
Final what?
Final one we talked about.
That's the last one we're talking about today?
No, we have more ones.
Okay. So I'm like, I got a whole bunch over here, kid, you want to talk about. So.
Yeah. I tell Moses here when we talk.
Alright.
Here's Windblade. She's the female.
She is.
Female. Oh, the females are the ones. Now.
Mm-hmm. Done. Where's Windblade from?
Caminus.
Mm-hmm.
I really love Caminus.
Now, in the comics, you know who's one of Windblade's really close friends?
Who? Blur.
Do you want to talk about Blur?
Yeah, so.
Okay. Oh, Blur. Blur is a new figure for us. Hey,
Yup, I owned him.
Generations Blur. Yes, you did.
The time for his right side was.
It does look like the Cyberverse version. It also looks a lot like the comic version. But that's not the Cyberverse toy line of Blur.
No.
They chose to make that one based on the Robots in Disguise version.
It doesn't. Cyberverse doesn't look right anymore.
That doesn't look like that Blur. And it does not look like the Blur of Titan's Return Blur. That looks like the original movie Blur. Instead, this Blur has got the big wing. Okay, we'll get close. Yep. There we go, close. Wing swept back helmet. There we go. Hey. What you doing, kid? Okay. What do you tell them about Blur? Which side is he on? What is he known for? All of that.
He's known for that running.
He's known for running. Okay. Keep showing them off. Show off Blur. He's known for being what? Slow?
Autobot.
He's
fast.
He's fast, hence his name.
And I'm also fast.
Blur. You're also fast. Fast like Blur?
Yeah.
Okay. Does Blur talk fast?
In animated, yeah.
Mm-hmm. In G1?
Yep, too.
Yep. Does he talk fast in Cyberverse?
Nope.
No. Interesting choice, huh?
Yeah, that's silly. You do silly.
Oopsies. Who should we talk about next?
How about Astro Train?
Astro Train.
Here is Astro Train.
Astro Train.
Astro Train.
Why is he called Astro Train?
Because he turns into a train.
And
an Astro.
And an Astro? I think we'll call that a space shuttle.
Yeah, space shuttle.
So he turns into a space shuttle and a train and his robot mode. This is admittedly, like, We need a big Astro Train. Give us a big Astro Train. For some reason, we keep being stuck with moderately sized Astro Trains. He's supposed to be big. The Decepticons ride around inside of him. Right?
23% I meant to stray wood.
Yep.
A Micromaster didn't move.
Yeah, the Micromasters could, in theory, fit inside of him, but he doesn't actually open up like that. Now.
No, his train will.
No. What else can you tell us about Astro Train? So if you can change into 2 other things besides robot mode, what are you called? There's a name for those kinds of Transformers.
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, it's something changers.
Changes?
What is it? What are they called?
What are changes?
So like him, Blitzwing, Octane, I'm blanking on one of the Autobots now. Springer.
Tank.
No, it's what kind of changers they are. They're not double.
Triple changes. Triple changes.
Triple changers.
Just triple changes.
There you go.
Wow.
Yep, they're called triple changers because they can transform into more than one form.
Yeah, triple changes.
Do you remember, because we've watched the Chris McFeely basics on this?
Yeah.
What's the most other forms they've ever made a figure with? Do you remember?
No.
His name is Six Shot. And
Six Shot.
And he transforms. If his name is Six Shot, how many forms do you think he has?
Six.
Yeah, he does have 6 forms. He also has a son. I'm not asking why. And Quick Switch, who was the Autobot version of that same mold that also had 6 forms. But the triple changes are neat. You're basically getting, when you think about a Transformer as being play value of vehicle and robot toy, a triple changer gives you 2 vehicles for the price of the same toy, which is kind of neat. I've always had a special affinity for Astro Train over, say, like Blitzwing or Octane. Though I do actually like Springer quite a bit, and since we keep mentioning him, why don't we talk about Springer, an Autobot triple changer? What does Springer turn into?
A helicopter, tall, and triple changer.
Yep, he's a triple changer. What can you tell me about Springer?
He has swords and pew-pews. I'm impressed he has 2.
What are his swords when he's in other modes? When he's a helicopter, what are the swords?
His blades.
His helicopter blades. Anything else you want to tell me about Springer?
He turns into a doll.
Do you know when he made his debut? In Transformers the movie back in '86.
Oh!
He was at Earth along with Blur and Ultra Magnus and Hot Rod and Pup and RC, all at Autobot City on Earth. He fights someone in particular. Because they go to the planet, they end up on the planet of junk.
Oh.
In the movie, remember, they're fleeing all the wreckage and they're leaving Earth, and they end up on the planet of junk. Do you remember who he fights? He fights someone because there's a misunderstanding. Before they become friends, who does he fight?
I'm trying to remember. Wet dog. Wet dog.
Wreck-Gar. So now we could, in theory, we could reenact the fight if we wish to. But it turns out that they end up being friends after all. Anything else you want to tell me about Springer? Springer's got another pretty big accolade, in the comics at least.
Tell me.
What does he lead?
He leads the Wreckers.
He does. He's the leader of the Wreckers. Varying with Impactor, who I don't have yet.
Do we also have a Wrecker?
We've got a couple different Wreckers, but he's...
Who is the Wrecker?
Okay, well, lots of people have been Wreckers at one time. I mean, RC was a Wrecker at one point. Let's see here.
Raccoon was?
Raccoon is a Wrecker at one point.
Raccoon.
In the old Marvel comics. Really significantly among Wreckers that we have. Who is that?
Whoa!
Whoa.
He has a spinning blade on it.
Mm-hmm.
He's white,
But like Impactor, Roadbuster, Guzzle.
Who's Guzzle?
Guzzle's an Autobot. Turns into a tank thing. Tiny little head. Addicted to something. Tentum.
Wait, to
Pentium.
Micromaster?
Well, his head's about the size of a Micromaster head. But he has a really big body. He's a goofy looking guy. Alright. So. That's Whirl.
Yeah, well, that's why he's terrible.
Okay. So who should we show off next?
I don't know.
Well, do you know who occasionally joins the Wreckers?
Who? Magnus, what's so off him?
Ultra Magnus. Also debuting in that 86 movie. There's Ultra Magnus.
He normally is a weapon.
Not always.
No.
Ultra Magnus, duly appointed enforcer of the Tyrest Accord. Could you please stop?
Da 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 da.
Tell us about Ultra Magnus.
Ultra Magnus. Normally during the wetters. Do you know inside him, people?
Who's inside? What's inside of him?
In Miss Ambus.
Minimus Ambus. Should I get Minimus Ambus out?
Yes, to show him what he looks like.
Alright, well, we're going to pull his head up. And we're going to
I love his head.
gently jimmy his chest off. And wow, looks
And Miss Ambus.
So if you've
Can you take him out? Yes,
seen
yes,
what
yes.
Independence Day or even Men in Black a little bit, there's a little bit of a aliens inside of bigger versions of themselves. There you go. Minimus Ambus. Show off Minimus Ambus to the camera.
Miss Ambus. Let's put him closely to Timber.
Yeah, try to see if you can get him really closely on the camera in focus. Camera's that little black circle up there.
No.
There you go. Minimus Ambus. That's who's actually, at least for that version of Ultra Magnus, who's based on the IDW comics. That's who's inside of him. Like back in the G1 cartoons, there's not a small little guy inside of him. He's just what he is.
Yeah.
All right, who else should we talk about? Because we just talked about Minimus Ambus. He turns himself, by the way, into a little tiny hover car.
Ultra Magnus.
We just talked about Ultra Magnus.
I mean,
Or I don't know if we want to talk about him either. We got still a few to talk about. Okay, you want to talk about the big boy?
yeah, big
Okay,
boy.
hang on.
Here is Skywings. Let's
Okay.
open his mouth.
Oh, his mouth is open. But hang on, we gotta give the full tour of this guy because he is one of the most unusual.
We need to him careful.
I'm just trying to turn him all
Put
around
him
with the camera.
here.
All right, here is Skylynx.
Skywings. Whoa!
Okay, so Skylynx.
No.
What can you tell me about Skylynx?
He is called Skywings because he turns into and has wings. Or
He
sky
has
wings.
wings. He has wings.
Yeah, to be Skywings.
Yeah. What does he turn into? What can you tell me about him?
He turns. You know what he turns into robot mode? This is his robot mode.
This is robot mode. This weird looking thing is his robot mode. I agree. What else can you tell me about him?
I don't know about.
Well, let's see here. What else can he become?
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't know?
Space shuttle.
Yep, it is.
Space shuttle mode.
He becomes a space shuttle. And when he's a space shuttle, what does he do?
He fights.
Well, not as much. When he's a space shuttle, he's mostly about...
Flying in the air.
Right, and like transporting Autobots around, right? Because he is an Autobot, right?
Yeah.
So there's his space shuttle mode. Show him
When
off.
he saw it. He still opens his mouth and he...
Yes, he's got a really neat... Yes, he could open his mouth while it's a space shuttle.
Yeah. I don't think so. He still has his eyes open. You know what his eyes are, people?
Probably not. You gotta tell him.
Windows.
Yep, he has windows for eyes.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Really? You don't know why?
No.
Now, he's our newest one. I got him as a anniversary gift.
Yeah, happy anniversary, people.
Yes, happy anniversary to Mommy and Daddy.
Happy
anniversary, dear. Thank you.
Happy anniversary.
And when he's usually in show mode, it looks more like that.
Yeah. And then pops off with a hammer.
Anyway, so that's Skunk's Autobot Transport. Really interesting character. You can't really say what exactly he's supposed to be.
Because we don't know what he is.
Did you need us to pause, kiddo?
No.
Okay. Who else should we talk about? We got a couple other people to talk about.
How about Wheeljack?
Wheeljack.
Wheeljack.
So still on our Autobot kick, and if you can't tell, we tend to be. I'm much more of an Autobot kind of guy. All right, show 'em off.
I'm a Septon guy.
Would you be a Septicon guy?
Yeah, no.
I'll let you call yourself a Septicon guy.
No, I'm not that.
No, do what you want, kid. All right. That is Wheeljack. What can you tell me about Wheeljack?
Wheeljack is a scientist.
He is a scientist. we were substituting things for Wheeljack for a while. All right, there's Wheeljack, the Autobot. Oh, there we go. Autobot scientist.
A different. Do you know what's about him?
Tell me about him, kid.
He's tough.
He has a car. It's actually a Lancia.
Lancia? And sometimes he's a sport car.
Well, that is. It's a sports car. It's a rally car. The funny part is the notion that, like, okay, you're robots in disguise. You should find yourselves into really inconspicuous cars. So why don't you go be a Honda Accord, and you could be, some kind of minivan.
Frozen.
And yes, it's your Frozen dress. But no, instead we're going to be this really specific Porsche racing car, Jazz, or a Lancia from the Lancia, what is it called?
Race.
That was the, I don't think it was the Beta. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was the famous rally one. Was that the Quattroporte? Yeah, it's not important. But anyway, it becomes a very specific racing car. Oh, Cosmos. He becomes a UFO. Like, you can just imagine. I've seen great comics to the effect of Optimus Prime just going, what part of being inconspicuous are you? What are we doing right now? We're doing Transformers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you need to tell me more about Wheeljack.
Yeah, he's a sports toner. That's all.
What does he do? He's a scientist. What does that mean? Why is a Transformer a scientist?
Because they need scientists. Also known as.
Does he appear in any particular series?
He appears in animated.
Briefly.
And mustache.
He does have a mustache in animated, but who else? Where does he appear a lot in?
Oh, the things I don't know about Pyro.
Okay, fun fact. He's the very first Autobot to appear.
Oh, and do you know who's the other scientist? What scientist is known?
Brainstorm.
No, I meant to say that!
Perceptor. Yeah. We do not have a Perceptor yet.
No.
Perceptor is surprisingly expensive.
So we can't have anyone.
Well, if Daddy gets lucky sometime, maybe he will. Anyway, so he's an Autobot scientist. What does he do? He's really like the gadget guy. He's not really a true scientist. He invents stuff. Yeah. And I was thinking she would mention to you about Cyberverse.
Cyberverse!
Where he invents a lot of really interesting gadgets, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has 3 thoughts.
Yes, he talks in every version, but he has a mouth in Cyberverse.
Yeah, but this one has wings. So
they almost always have wings, kid. All right.
Wings.
Okay.
I mean,
you want to show off one more and then we'll stop? Because you seem to be getting bored.
Yeah.
Do you want to show off the last one?
Yeah. Sound wave.
We do have a sound wave. Titans Return sound wave.
Oh, so we have Titan Tones ones.
Yep. Who's he have inside his chest? Right, so the original way that so Soundwave's deal is that, you know, the chest opens and like tapes come out or discs come out or whatever comes out. The point is, small Transformers hang around inside of his chest, and he can launch them to become his own little team. Soundwave really gets a very nice prominent role in Cyberverse, and yet the Cyberverse toy is terrible. Hence why I didn't choose it, because it's just awful. It's just awful. I mean, a lot of people love the Siege version. I can't get past the alt mode on that. Plus, to me, I don't like a cobbled together alt mode of the stereo system. This one does not have that. This one has an honest to goodness stereo version if you want them that way. Though I know that they've now done that with Earthrise, that the Earthrise Soundwave does transform properly into
There he is. It's Laserbeak.
Laserbeak.
Stay behind.
So, all right, kid. Okay, and Laserbeak is one of his minions, the one that usually goes and spies on the Autobots for him, and that can fold up and fit inside of him. Anyone else we want to talk about? I think.
Oh, Rabbit.
Ravage, Rumble, Frenzy. I'm not gonna mention which one I think is which. Ratbat, Wing Thing, Buzzsaw.
Buzzsaw.
Yellow Laserbeak.
Oh!
All right. Anything else you'd like to say about Soundwave? He's a Decepticon. He's like one of the main lieutenants of Megatron. You know, alongside Starscream and Shockwave. Usually he's kind of the intelligence officer, spies on people, intercepts communications. Anything else you'd like to say about Soundwave?
He is a radio.
Yes, he does turn into a radio. Back in the era where they didn't care that you could get really small ones. And of course what he is in the history of Transformers, there were some of the original toys, because they were toys first, were toys that were in Japan that were everyday objects that turned into small robots. And when they made a cartoon out of it and started establishing a sort of continuity of who these characters are, they decided they didn't really want to make the robots tiny in comparison, especially since they decided to anchor the Decepticons to one of these guys in Megatron, where he turned into a handgun. I think I mistakenly once called it a German handgun. It's not a German handgun. But he turns into a handgun, and yet, you know, that would actually be a really tiny robot, even a robot-sized handgun. But they decided that in the cartoon series, you just see them kind of shrink down easily without much concern for the physics or anything else involved. And yes, there has been some hand-waving since by fans to try and rectify how that's possible in some certain kinds of physics. But the reality was they wanted to try and show these objects, everyday objects. They could be you can be a stereo system, you could be a handgun, you can be whatever, a special laser pistol. That's what Shockwave was originally. But yet still be a normal-sized robot. So you see them shrink and expand a lot in the original series. But you can imagine, you've already got tiny take characters inside of you. Now you've shrunk now to the size of a normal boombox from the 80s. I mean, that's still big, but not, you know, huge. All right.
And it's little.
Right, exactly. Okay, kid, anything else you'd like to say?
No.
All right, since we're running on about a half hour.
Yeah, and then it was almost done.
Yeah, dinner's going to be ready soon.
Yeah.
All right. I think we'll say goodbye to people. Bye,
Bye.
people.